So, this is what this is going to look like under some dim lighting. It looks a little different in person, but you can still see the yellow lights pulsing and moving around in circles in there. So it's going to give me the effect I want. In fact, I don't think I'm going to clear... I don't think I'm going to... No, I'm not going to frost those domes over. They sit on there just perfect the way I want them to. I like the center post on there because it's carrying the red light up in the center. You can't see it with the camera because the colors are washed out with the camera. Let's try some overhead lighting. Maybe, yeah, that works. You can see the various pieces of the engine in there with the naked eye, and you can see the lights moving. So if you get your eye up in there and look, and I like that. It makes it look like there are some mechanical parts down in there. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And again, the camera can't do it because it's washed out. You can kind of see it there, but if I put the clear dome on there, it fogs it over some. Let me move this dome, because the camera picks it up better over here, because there's direct light overhead. Now, I'm not getting that dome on there 100% perfect, but just for demonstration purposes. There, that's closer to what you see even when it's dim. Okay? So I'm liking the effect I'm getting out of this. I'm going to leave the domes crystal clear. So I can glue these 3 pieces on there now. And that's progress. Real good progress. Speaking of progress, let me cut the power on this so we can look at her a little bit more closely. Put the clear dome back away so it doesn't get scratched up. Seams. Right there, I didn't quite sand it down well enough. But the rest of it, the seams are pretty gone. Yeah, right there I didn't sand it well enough either, and I know that. It's a teeny bit of sanding. Same thing there, just a teeny bit of sanding and I'll have the seams completely done on her. Okay? This guy, seams are done. I'm going to remove that silver paint, glue that part in, and mask up some windows on there. We got 3 windows at the top. We got 6 windows there, 6 windows there. So we're going to get those masked. Thought about masking those, changed my mind. I may mask that circle off, don't know yet. The first thing I got to do is get the silver paint off here. And yeah, you can see it right there, but that's brush strokes. That's not... If I hit the light just right on it, you don't see anything. That's brush strokes, that's not anything. I also got to clean up the panel lines just a teeny bit, but that's really easy to do with a triangular file. So I'll get the panel lines and stuff cleared up on this one. This one's seam filling is done. That's a bonus. There's the rocket engine that goes on it. Pegasus made it so you could remove the upper stage, kind of. You would have to do some modding here to do it, but you could get it where the upper stage came off. I decided not to, and it's kind of a shame because we're never really going to see this thrust ring because it's going to be LED fit in place and glued down in there, and you will never see it, but I got so the LED just fits in there perfectly. Okay, that's a nice white LED to light the interior that white. So let me get working. Be back in a bit. Okay, here's my multimeter, and I want to test this battery over here to see if it's really 9 volts. Now my problem is my multimeter has gone wonky on me, and it's not supposed to do that. I'm gonna hook this 9-volt battery up to it real quick, provided the battery is going to cooperate. Okay, as you can see, it's reading somewhere between 9 and 10 volts. Earlier it was reading pretty constant 9.92 volts like it is right now. Reading settles down. Thunderpaws had to check it to see if it was right. Okay, now what I have over here is a power supply I want to use with the Mercury 9. It says 9 volt 1 amp. I got it off a dead piece of electronics. Keep that in mind. Okay? And I'm going to plug it into the power supply here. I know where the negative and positive pole on this power supply is. So So I'm going to wire it in. It's going to take a minute. I know you guys have such a wonderful view of what I'm doing. I'm going to plug it in the wall. Okay, so I might not have the poles plugged in right. Let me flip one of them. There we go. I got powered in right. Now remember, this said 9 volts on it. The multimeter is not work functioning 100% positive, so properly. So give it a moment. But it keeps reading around 13.7, 13.8 volts. And that's not right for something that's labeled 9 volts plugged into the wall. Okay? I'm going to have to replace this thing. There's no way around it. There we go. It's reading 13.8 again. And that should not be what it does. So I cannot use this power supply on the Mercury 9. Not if it's reading like that. So I got to find a different one. I can't have something that far off. 4 volts off? It's going to fry every circuit in there. Every single LED I set up is just going to die. So I can't do this. So I got to find a different one that actually works properly. So I'll be back in a minute, and we're going to give 2 or 3 more a try. Okay, this thing's just wonked. Alright? But when I can get it to read on that power supply right there, it reads 9.5 volts. And this is the one I got from Walmart. Okay? Now, this just puts me at a standstill until I can get a replacement for this, because I can't do anything with the stand, the base. Because I've got to know what's positive and what's negative on this output before I can even do any wiring. I can't get it backwards. I get it backwards, half my circuits are going to fry. That's the problem with the 4060 timer chip. You wire the voltage up backwards, it dies. But it looks like this thing's reading about 9.5 volts. I wish I knew what was wrong with this. This was expensive. You know, and I just put it in storage, pulled it out, and it's doing this. And I've used it like 10 times. This company, not buying one from them again. I'm about to get online and buy a new one. I'm going to go to Amazon.com, which means it'll be a week before I can get one, unfortunately. Because this is the only company brand I think I can get here in town. And that's the problem with living in a small town. And I just can't have this thing behaving this way. Well, now it's calmed down and it's reading. But anyhow, this power supply is reading correctly. So I think the problem is that other one, and that explains why that piece of electronics was dead. The power supply doesn't work for it. The input on it was supposed to be 9 volts, and the thing is reading... I mean, look, that's pretty steady at 9.4 volts. 0.4 volts off isn't going to kill anything with my circuits. Okay? But if we're reading 13.5, that's definitely going to kill LEDs. So, looks like this power supply is the one I'm going to end up using. I'm going to go look around and check a little bit further. Okay? See if I can find better. I'm also going to plug this other power supply in and check it one more time because I think I figured out how to get this thing to work, which will make me happier. Alright, be back in a bit. Okay, I'm working on getting power into the model base. And what I did is I notched this out. I need to clean that up just a teeny bit more. I don't like it because there's a notch right there that needs to go away. I thought I got rid of it, but the video camera's picking it up. So I'm going to take it out and I'm going to notch it a little bit more. But I need a flat spot for the power jack to go to. So that's why I'm notching this. I'll be back in a minute. You know, I still don't have that right. This is the problem with being slightly anal retentive. I'm going to keep working that notch until I have it exactly the way I want it. Be back in a minute. Alright, I got that where I'm satisfied with it. I was trying to use a file. Finally gave up on the file and got a wood chisel after it, and that worked a lot better. I don't use the chisels that often, but it worked better. Anyone want a Ford Ranger head unit with speakers? Need to get rid of it. Anyone wants it, just send me a PM. I ain't going to ask a lot for it. Just want it gone. Alright, back to this. I'm going to get ready because I need to get a hole drilled to get that through that. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I got the preliminary hole drilled. I'm using the drill press again. I'm not sure what size drill bit that is, but it's probably around a 1/2 inch.
And you always start on the surface you want finished, and you drill to the side you don't, because drilling does things like that. There's ways of preventing that. I think a piece of masking tape over the end of that will keep that from fraying like that, but I don't really care because no one's going to see this side. You'll see this side, however. I need to check and see if that works. Okay, this is preliminary hole again. And no, it's too small. I'm going to have to drill it bigger. I need a hole big enough for that to fit through. I'm going to have to drill a bigger hole from the back side so this slides up to it and can be screwed on. Okay? So first we drill this hole, then we countersink to get this diameter. So let me increase the size of the drill bit. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I got the hole the proper size, and let's give you guys some specifications here while I'm test fitting to show you it's the proper size. Yeah, you can see it fits right in there. This is a size N power jack, okay? Got it at Radio Shack. They're not overly expensive. Yeah, a couple of dollars. All right. The hole is a 5/16 hole for the threading, so the threading comes out. Now I need to countersink a much bigger hole to fit this other guy. So I'm going to take it up. What I've been doing is I've just been working my way up this range of drill bits slowly until I got one that fit. Now this countersink hole is definitely going to be bigger than 5/16, so I'm probably going to jump to the other side over here on my index bits and start with it. I also have to drill that from the back side. So this is where it gets interesting, because I got to hold this thing perpendicular while I'm drilling it. Not too bad because I got a nice handle on it. My hand is nowhere near that drill bit when it's spinning. Okay, so let me get going on that. I'll tell you what size that is when I get done. Okay, for the secondary hole, I used a piece of scrap wood. And you can see that just fits in there, just perfect. Okay, this drill bit is a 7/16 drill bit. So it's 5/16 and 7/16 that we need when we're putting in a size N power jack. Now here comes the delicate part, because I can't drill this all the way through. I can only drill it a certain depth, and then I'm in trouble. So what I'm going to do, and I don't feel like measuring, is I'm going to drill it a little bit, check it, drill it a little bit, check it. It is a drill press. If I wanted to measure, I could get it exact. I've got a depth set. I can set my depth right there. I can watch my depth right there, and I intend to while I'm doing this. And it looks like I might have drilled that hole a little bit too low, and this is going to cause some issues down here. You can see that. It looks like I'm going to end up eating up right at the edge of the wood. And that's bad because I don't want to cut another one of these. So I'm going to have to be really careful with this. I didn't plan my hole very well. I'll be back once I've done my drilling. Okay, you can see the power jack sticking out just enough to get its nut on it and the washer. Okay, I must have drilled that like 10 or 15 times to get it to sit in there correctly. Now I'm just going to go clean up the wood a teeny bit and fix my chisel marks right there with a file and some sandpaper, and then I can start gluing this thing together now that I've got power access. And I'm going to tell you a little story while I put away my drill bit. Okay, no I'm not, because I need two hands to do that. Still going to tell you a little story. Alright? Now, I could do this way. Now, when last project I did, Nellie's Christmas present, which is still not 100% done. It's close though. I can finish it probably this weekend, and I probably will because I'm staining something this weekend. I didn't take the time to put the power jack in before I put the thing together. I learned from my past experience. I put that power jack in first before I started gluing together. It's one of those things, you know, you got to make some mistakes to learn to do things the correct way. And hence, I'm getting this in there the correct way this time. Okay? I take my little screw right here, and it will screw on there. And you can see it is screwing on there, and it's holding. So now I'm going to have a really nice looking little power jack right there. Remember, the outside hole is 5/16, the inside hole is 7/16. That way you've got the measurements for a size N power jack. I'll put them in the video notes if I can remember to do so, but I know it's in the video, so I may not worry about it too much. Well, time to go inside and start gluing these pieces together so I have a base for the Mercury 9. That's what's holding me up right now, is getting that base done, and I have to work on it a little bit every day because it takes time. I glue some pieces, let it sit, glue some pieces, let it sit, sand some pieces, let it sit. Okay? So this is the last thing keeping me from gluing pieces together. I'll be back in a little bit.
Well, Mom, we came here to Black Hawk, Central City, and it's not what I remember. We're in Central City right now. This isn't too bad. Black Hawk is nothing like you're going to remember seeing. I mean, this is pretty much what we expected for Central City. Okay. But what we're finding for Black Hawk, we're going to head back down to Black Hawk. You can already see it. Look at the size of that hotel popping up over the top of the mountains up there. The big casinos came in and took over. They mowed down the whole city and just turned it into one big hotel resort. What gambling. The quaint little mountain buildings are gone once we get around the corner down here. So, again, it's not what I remember it to be. Not at all. In fact, I'm getting the feeling that Nellie and I aren't even going to stop here. We're just going to head back on down the road to where we were headed. Is that about right? All right, Mom, now you get to really see what the changes they made are. Because I think some of that was there. We get up here. This is nothing like what I remember. Again, we got a 30-story tall hotel right here. Take a lot of the fun out of it to me. I didn't really want to come up here and just gamble. Here we go. You can see the last of it. We'll go around the corner here. And they're carving out the mountain to make more room for more. Again, I'm not really thrilled about any of that. Alright, just thought I'd let you see what it looked like, how they've changed it.